Welcome back to the deep dive.
Mm.
You know that feeling, right? Palms sweating, heart pounding.
Yeah.
You're about to do something, well, brave.
Mm-hmm.
We heard from our listener, Erin, this week. She had this moment, stepped up for a huge class presentation. Hands were literally shaking, she said.
Wow.
And she owned it. And here's the really cool part. People listened. Not because every single word was perfectly polished,
Right.
but because she clearly, truly believed what she was saying.
That's powerful.
Isn't it wild how confidence isn't really about everything being perfect? It's more just showing up with what you've got.
It absolutely is. And that's really our mission for this deep dive, exploring these fascinating sources Erin sent over about confidence.
Yeah.
We're aiming to pull out the principles for building that genuine confidence, not the sort of fake it till you make it stuff, but a real inner shift based on the research.
Okay.
So whether you're hoping to maybe speak up more at work or just want to stop that constant second guessing, yeah, this one's for you.
So where should we start? I guess maybe tackling one of the biggest myths that jumped out from the material.
Let's do it.
This idea that confidence comes down to how you look.
Yeah.
Perfect skin, the right outfit, or maybe for some listeners, speaking absolutely flawless English.
Ah, yes, that one.
The sources really push back on that, don't they?
They really do, quite strongly, actually. Our sources, especially the ones looking at behavioral psychology, they keep hitting this point. You don't think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. Real confidence, the kind that actually sticks. It shows up the moment you take action. Especially, and this is key, especially when you don't feel ready.
Right, when it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. It's about the doing. I mean, I definitely used to think confidence was just for, those naturally outgoing types.
Yeah, me too.
Or people who just seemed so put together. But the research points out, and honestly, my own life showed me, you can look totally fine on the outside and be just riddled with self-doubt inside. It wasn't until I started actually doing things that felt genuinely hard, like applying for jobs I felt totally unqualified for.
Oh, yeah.
Or speaking up in meetings, even when my voice was shaky. That's when the internal shift actually started happening. For real.
So it's less like a mood you wait for and more like a muscle you have to actually work.
Precisely. You build it by using it.
The more action you take, the more, I guess, proof. Your brain collects that says, okay, I handled that, even though it was messy. Or, I was nervous, but I survived.
Exactly. Tangible evidence.
And for you, listening, especially if you're learning English,
yeah.
Here's a fantastic micro tip right from the behavioral side of this. Don't wait for perfect grammar.
Please don't.
Saying something like, I don't know the exact word, but I'll try. That's not weakness. That's a huge act of confidence. Because you're acting despite the uncertainty.
And once you start taking those actions, something even deeper starts to build. Our sources call it self-trust. And material's pretty clear. Confidence isn't about being fearless. Fundamentally, it's about believing in yourself.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and foundational. How exactly do we build that belief? According to the research, is it just these big, dramatic wins?
Well, that's the surprising part. The sources, particularly those focusing on self-efficacy and habit building, they stress it's built by keeping the tiny promises you make to yourself.
Tiny promises? Like what?
Not the huge goals necessarily, more like, okay, I'll drink a liter of water today, or I'll spend just 5 minutes reviewing vocabulary. Micro commitments.
Right.
And when you follow through on those little things, the research suggests you're actually kind of rewiring your brain, building these self-trust loops, some neuroscientists call them. But the flip side is, if you constantly say, I'll start tomorrow, I'll do it later, and then you don't, well, your brain learns it can't really count on you.
That makes sense.
And confidence, without that underlying self-trust, it's shaky. It doesn't last. I used to be the king of setting huge goals I never kept. It just chipped away at my self-trust. The real change happened when I started super small, like one task, one win. And each time I followed through, it was like, okay, solid proof, I can count on me.
So it's about proving your reliability to yourself, day by day.
Pretty much.
And for you listening, especially our English learners, this translates directly. Pick just one tiny daily habit, seriously small.
Yeah.
Maybe it's using one new phrase in a conversation, or shadowing one sentence from this deep dive. Do it every day for a week.
Just a week.
You might be genuinely surprised how fast your self-belief starts to grow. Because that self-trust, that's the bedrock. When you have it, you stop waiting around for motivation. You just show up. You know you've got your own back.
Here's another angle our sources bring up. Even when you're building that inner trust, Your confidence can still take a hit if you're constantly surrounded by, well, draining people.
The environment factor.
Yeah. If everyone around you is insecure or always negative or just plain scared to grow,
Hmm.
the research is pretty clear. That stuff rubs off big time.
That's a really crucial point. Confidence isn't built in a bubble, is it?
Not at all.
Our surroundings matter way more than we maybe admit sometimes.
Yeah.
I remember this period where my close friends were just stuck in this loop,
Yeah.
Complaining, doubting, afraid to try anything new. And without even really noticing, I started playing smaller too, just to kind of fit in. It was subtle, but yeah.
Oh, totally. The social psychology parts of the material really back this up, this mirroring effect. I used to have people around me who'd kind of subtly, or sometimes not so subtly, scoff at bigger ideas like, you want to do what? Start a podcast, speak in public. That's not really you. And it's so easy to absorb that doubt.
It sinks in.
But the moment I started consciously seeking out people who were, I don't know, bolder, people who challenged me, invited me into different spaces, made me a bit uncomfortable, but in a good way, everything shifted. I kind of rose to meet them. Now, this isn't about just cutting off old friends wholesale.
No, right.
But as the sources suggest, it's about consciously choosing to spend more time with people who inspire you, people who have the energy, the habits, the confidence you want more of. It's an active curation of your influences.
And for you, the listener learning English, this is super actionable. Think about joining a group or a class where other people are really serious about speaking, about improving,
Yes.
being immersed in that kind of energy.
Mm-hmm.
The research on social learning suggests it can fundamentally change how you see yourself. Suddenly, confidence doesn't feel like this distant thing. It feels normal.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're surrounded by people showing up, growing, cheering each other on. It makes it way easier to do it yourself.
Precisely. But okay, even with the right people around you, there's still one voice that can totally sabotage your confidence.
Uh-oh. Which one?
Your own.
That one.
Because if you don't really know yourself, like truly know who you are, which some of the identity-focused sources explore, you'll end up believing whatever anyone else says about you.
That cuts deep.
That.
I used to let people define me constantly. Oh, you're too quiet. You're just not a confident person.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sort of accept it. Because I hadn't really taken the time to ask myself, well, who am I actually?
Exactly the same here. But when I started making a real effort to spend time alone, journaling, reflecting, sometimes just sitting quietly with my thoughts, the sources on self-reflection really hit home.
Yeah.
I started realizing, wait a minute, I do have things to say. I do have opinions. I just hadn't given myself the space to actually hear them before. And here's the powerful bit from the material. The more you understand why you react like you do, what your triggers are, what scares you, what excites you, the more confident you become.
That's so.
Because you move from just guessing about yourself to actually knowing. You build this internal compass,
That makes perfect sense. And for our English learners, this connects beautifully. Try journaling in English, even just a few lines a day.
Great idea.
Ask yourself simple things. What did I feel today? What made me feel proud? It's dual practice, right? For your language and your identity.
Yeah.
Because once you start understanding yourself from the inside out, you stop needing other people's permission to just be you, which seems like a core part of lasting confidence based on this.
Absolutely. Now let's flip another common idea the sources touched on, this assumption that confidence means being the loudest person in the room.
Oh yeah, the show-off factor.
Exactly. But the material suggests that true confidence, it doesn't need to yell, it doesn't need to show off, it just is.
It just is.
It walks into a room without feeling this desperate need to prove anything.
I love that distinction. Because we all know people who seem to need to brag constantly, right? But often that energy feels, well, it feels more like insecurity wearing a costume. The most genuinely confident people I've encountered, and what our notes describe, seem calm, grounded, present.
Yes, they make eye contact. They actually listen. They're not afraid of a little silence. They don't rush to fill it.
Okay, so body language plays a role here, too.
Oh, hugely. The research on nonverbal communication is really clear about this. Our sources highlight simple things. Sitting tall, uncrossing your arms, letting people actually see your hands when you talk.
Little cues.
Yeah, small, open postures. They radiate this quiet confidence, and people pick up on it subconsciously.
So for you, the English learner, this translates to maybe practicing pausing a bit more when you speak.
Definitely.
Speak a little slower. You don't need to rush or try to impress with fancy words or talking super fast. Just own your pace. There's a stillness in that, a power.
Exactly. Real confidence doesn't scream. It doesn't have to. It just kind of glows.
But, and this is a big but that our sources make very clear, confidence doesn't grow while you're hiding. You actually have to practice being seen. Oh man, this one used to terrify me. Seriously.
You and most people.
I would actively avoid eye contact, sit way in the back, stay quiet just so nobody would notice me.
It's such a common defense mechanism, and the material addresses it directly. The tough truth is, the longer you avoid being seen, the harder it gets to actually show up when you need to.
So what's the alternative?
You don't have to leap onto a stage and give a TED Talk tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Think about the small acts of visibility the sources mention. Raising your hand in class, saying one thing in your next meeting, even just asking a question. That single moment where you choose visibility, even though safety feels easier, that's the stretch zone. That's where confidence actually lives and gets stronger.
Okay, but let's be real. As the sources acknowledge, people might judge. You might mess up.
Absolutely. That's part of it. But the goal isn't perfection. It never was. The goal is just to show up anyway. Because the act of showing up, despite the fear, is the confidence builder.
So for all our English learners listening, this is a powerful practice area. Speak in front of a mirror. Record yourself talking.
Yes.
Leave a comment on a video.
Yes.
Send a voice note instead of texting sometimes. Just put yourself out there in these tiny, manageable ways.
Micro exposures.
Because every single time you let yourself be seen, you're essentially teaching your brain, like the research on habituation suggests, okay, that was scary, but I'm safe. I'm okay. I can actually do this. You're building that new pathway.
And that leads us perfectly to the final piece, maybe the most powerful piece of this whole confidence puzzle, extracted from Aaron's materials.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you're always waiting for other people to validate you, the sources are unanimous on this.
Yeah.
You will always feel like something's missing.
Wow. Hey, it's hard. I used to live for praise from others. Did I do okay? Was that good? Tell me it was good.
Been there.
And it just left me feeling so empty inside. Like I couldn't feel okay until someone else signed off on me. It's like a bottomless pit, that external validation.
It really is. But the fundamental shift happens, according to our sources, when you start learning to cheer for yourself.
How does that work?
When you start saying to yourself, hey, I did pretty great after that presentation. Or, wow, I handled that tricky conversation really well.
Talking to yourself.
Yeah. The material from therapists and self-compassion experts suggests this powerful practice. I literally, some mornings, look in the mirror and just say, girl, you are doing amazing.
Really? Does that feel weird at first?
A little, but it works because your brain listens, as the sources put it so beautifully. If you wouldn't say those harsh, critical things to your best friend, why on earth are you saying them to yourself?
Good point.
This self-validation builds up this internal reservoir of worth. It's yours.
And for you, the English learner, this is amazing. It's both language practice and deep personal healing rolled into one.
Totally.
Practice actually saying encouraging things to yourself in English. Things like, I'm getting better. I'm proud of myself for trying. Okay, I'm not perfect, but I am improving.
Yes. Be your own hype person.
You have to be your own hype person, your own source of comfort, your own celebration committee. Because when that love, that validation comes from within you, as the sources clearly show, nobody can ever take that away from you.
It becomes an unshakable core.
Wow. What a powerful place to land after digging through all these insights, this deep dive into Aaron's sources. Hopefully it's reminded you that confidence isn't something you just, wait around for.
Right.
It's something you actively build. One step, one word, one tiny brave moment at a time. Every single act of showing up for yourself, setting a boundary, speaking your truth, it all counts. It all builds.
So we really want to encourage you to take that understanding and move it into action. Based on everything we've talked about, based on these insights, what's just one single tiny step you can take today, right now, to foster your own confidence, no matter how small it seems?
Because building confidence, as the material really emphasizes, is this continuous journey. It's self-discovery, it's self-affirmation. So here's something to think about after we wrap up. What new, maybe unexpected part of your own identity might you uncover as you consistently choose to show up and trust yourself, even if it's just in those tiny ways we discussed? Your progress definitely doesn't end here.